Beyond the Game. Brought to you by Turkish Airlines.
Hello and welcome to Nyon in Switzerland, the home of European football's governing body. On Thursday, 16 UEFA executives will be asked to vote for who they think should host the European Championship in 2024. There are only two options: Germany or Turkey.
Still 6 years away, but already moves are being made to host the European Championships of 2024. The question is, will it be Turkey or Germany? The two great football nations have set out their path to what they hope will be the best version of European football's greatest prize. Germany are offering up 10 cities to host this time around. 4 of those are in the footballing powerhouse region of the Rhine Valley, including the Westfalen Stadium in Dortmund. Down south, fans will remember the Allianz Arena in Munich, which made its grand debut at the 2006 World Cup, while the final will be played at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, which hosted the 1936 Olympics, 2006 World Cup final, and most notably the 2015 Champions League final between Barcelona and Juventus. Germany does have a history of hosting football's great events. 4-time winners on the pitch, West Germany hosted and won the World Cup in 1974, the 1988 Euros, which shone brightly off the back of Marco van Basten, and the 2006 World Cup final, the first in a unified Germany, remembered as much for Italy's win as for Zinedine Zidane headbutting Marco Materazzi. The other bid, Turkey, will mean there are some allegiances which are strained by UEFA's decision. Millions of Turkish people also call Germany home.
I love both countries. Of course, I'm connected to both countries in a very special way. The one is the country where I was born and where I grew up. And the one is the country of my family, where my family comes from, and where my roots are. So I think it's just a win-win situation for me.
Turkey have never hosted a major tournament before. They were unsuccessful to host the Euros in the past, but it's a nation with deep ties to the European game. Turkey's bid for the showpiece event includes 9 cities and hopes to open up the ancient culture of the nation's southeast. The final, however, will be played in a familiar setting, the Istanbul Ataturk Stadium, a ground beloved by Liverpool fans for the memories of the 2005 Champions League final. The Turkish bid is not just a showcase for football, but a chance for the continent to look at the destination with new eyes.
Okay, so there you go. Turkey and Germany both want to host European football's biggest national competition. Turkey is hoping to live up to its bid motto of share together as they welcome Europe to take a chance on somewhere new. Now, the man pushing Turkey's dream of hosting the event is UEFA Exco member Servet Yardımcı. He sat down with Beyond the Game's Robin Adams to explain the Turkish bid.
How confident are you of Turkey landing the hosting rights for Euro 2024? Because you lost out by just one vote to France in 2016. What makes you think things are going to be different this time around?
Well, this is our 4th time that we have made this bid for Turkey to host such a major tournament. And as you said, we failed the last one with one vote to France. That was very unfortunate. This time we're confident because since then Turkey has developed so much in about eight years' time, because we handed our dossier to UEFA in 2010 for Euros 2016. In that dossier, we had given a lot of promises and commitments that we would deliver if we were awarded for the tournament. But today, 8 years passed. Not only we've delivered, those promises and commitments that we gave, but we have exceeded. Development in Turkey has been so great that one would expect to have occurred in 80 years. So Turkey, in all respect, are more than ready. We have the stadia ready. Out of 10 stadia, we've got the 8 already are in use. Turkey is a new boundary, because Turkey a bridge to many continents, basically, not Asia, Europe only. So it's a bridge to many continents. It's a gateway to Middle East, Africa. It will expand the audience. It will expand the commercial strength of UEFA. It will have new supporters, new excitements. So I hope that my ExCo fellow members will look at it from that point stand, that it is time for change, for a tournament to go to a new nation like Turkey. So it is time for Turkey to have this privilege.
Given the economic situation of Turkey, the leaders plummeted this year. Is the European Championships, the tournament, something Turkish people want? Is it something they even need?
Well, Turkey's economy has been strong over the years. Turkish economy has been expanding basically more than 5% per annum. We do have the currency crisis for different reasons, for some external or some internal reasons or factors. But Turkey will overcome this problem easily because it's a strong nation. It is in fact going to be, if the exchange rate stays at this level, it will be beneficial, attractive to the visitors, to come and enjoy the buying power, in Turkey. Whereas, Turkish government have given financial and legal guarantees.
What sets your campaign apart from the other front runners at the stage, Germany?
Germany have hosted World Cup twice and Euro one time, so they've done it already. So there is no excitement there. We're saying we have not done it. In our history, we are saying that our bid is more compelling to Germany because there will be hopefully more financial benefits to UEFA that Turkey will sort of offer.
The Turkish football team, the national football team, have enjoyed a decent start to the UEFA Nations League campaign.
Yes.
The Turkish league itself, the Super League, has had one of the best seasons last season that it's ever been in terms of excitement. How much of an advantage do you think that is to Turkey's bid for Euro 2024?
Well, Turkish football is the sixth biggest economy in Europe, and out of this sixth biggest, strongest economy in Europe, it is only Turkey which has not had the opportunity to host. It's a footballing country. It has all the positive factors relating to footballing and tournament that will be taken into account, I hope, in the end, in the awarding of the tournament by our ExCo members.
Now, in the interest of fairness, we wanted to discuss Germany's bid with the German representatives here in Nyon, but when TRT World approached the German team, they declined the interview request. So instead, we called on the experience and knowledge of football and politics journalist Andrew Warshaw about how the bid will be won.
Are UEFA going to go with, as you say, take it to new areas of the world where it's never been before? Which is something that the president, Alexander Cheferin, is privately, I understand, quite keen on doing. Whether it's Turkey this time, that's a different matter, but certainly wants to expand major competitions beyond the normal traditional venues. So I think that's a huge advantage for Turkey. They've bid 3 times, they failed 3 times, and they say it's their time, and that could impact quite heavily on the minds of the UEFA delegates. Sympathy does not always translate into votes, and they may take the view, UEFA, the ExCo, they may take the view that, look, the Euros in 2020 is going to be in 13 cities, it's a logistical nightmare. Is it time to actually bring it back to a safe haven? We know what Germany can do, they've done it before, let's give it to them again. But as I say, a lot depends on what kind of attitude they take. I mean, the Eastern European UEFA members, I think, will fall heavily on the side of Turkey, and the West, obviously, towards Germany. Now, here's something really interesting. from my undertakings with various UEFA sources, I've ascertained that it could end up only being a 16-member UEFA vote, because a couple of them, obviously the Turkish and Germans can't vote anyway, but a couple of the other UEFA members probably not going to be there. So it could come down as a 16-member vote. Now, if that's the case, and if it's 8 against 8, what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you, it means that Alexander Ceferin has the casting vote. So it could, the UEFA president could, it's only could, prove absolutely pivotal in terms of which way this goes. I suspect that the UEFA delegates won't pay too much attention to Ozil, because where does that play in terms of the evaluation report? Which area does it fall under? Well, the answer is probably none.
Istanbul's Ataturk Olympic Stadium is the intended host city of the Euro 2024 final. It is a stadium home to one of the greatest moments in European football, Liverpool's 2005 Champions League victory against AC Milan. The arena hosted a match loved by football romantics all around the world. And here is how it all unfolded from the Liverpool captain who orchestrated one of the greatest ever comebacks, Steven Gerrard.
The city was amazing. Certainly in the build-up, I think the AC Milan fans and Liverpool fans, two fantastic supported teams, I think they made a really carnival atmosphere. And it was a special occasion. The stadium looked amazing on the drive-in, all lit up in the dark. The pitch was perfect, and both sets of fans played the part on the night.
Quite a breezy night in Istanbul. The wind blows down over an open stand to your left to right. Liverpool are playing into it in the first half.
Then you find yourself 3-0 down because they absolutely dominated us in the first period.
Right-footed, edge of the box, shot comes in. Oh, it's a goal for Milan. It's taken 50 seconds for Milan to score.
Shevchenko al centro, il tiro, rete, il raddoppio di Alba, che leva Crespo, il tiro, rete, il terzo gol del Milan.
So yeah, there was a lot of soul searching at half-time. We all had to look at ourselves first and foremost, and then we had to go out and sort the mess out. But I think the key was having the fans on side. The fans stuck with us.
3-0 down. The Liverpool fans are just seeing if sheer fan power alone can lift the team.
I think the couple of changes that Raf had made played a big part as well. But I think everyone found an extra 10, 15, 20% even in their own game, and everyone brought that to the party, and thankfully we got back into the game.
In towards Gerrard! Hello! Here we go! Steven Gerrard puts a grain of doubt in the back of Milan's minds.
We all had to dig, not just myself. Certainly going into the latter stages of the 90 minutes and the extra time. I think a game of that magnitude, you use a lot of energy in the build-up, because it's such a game of high magnitude. So when the game actually comes around, you actually feel drained before it starts, and then you have to go and compete against one of the best teams in Europe.
A man to Smicer, oh! He's got a superb second for Liverpool, and all of a sudden the Reds are back in the European Cup final. It's quite outstanding. It's the most unbelievable scenes in the Ataturk Stadium in Istanbul.
The Liverpool fans were, for us, were the 12th man, because I think 99% of teams would have give up on the team 3-0 down at half-time and really put pressure and unnecessary bad energy towards the team. But the Liverpool fans stuck with us all the way through, and they certainly played their part in getting us over the line.
40,000 Liverpool fans inside here hold their breath. Hundreds of thousands hold their breath on Merseyside. It's Xabi Alonso for 3-3, it's saved, and Alonso follows it in! It's wonderful! It's marvellous! It's 3-3 in the European Cup final!
But the difference with our fans and most others is they wake up every single morning and Liverpool's the priority. They live for the club and they live for the badge, and I totally understand that feeling, because I was a fan before I became a player. And now that I'm not a player, I still have that feeling where I love the club and I want them to do well. Even when I was over in LA, I was still a huge Liverpool fan. And that's just how the club grabs you.
Echo for the European Footballer of the Year. The star man in the Milan side must score. He must score. He saved it! Duran saves for Liverpool! And Liverpool have won the Champions League! This is amazing!
Can you believe it? At 1:15 this Thursday morning in Istanbul, Liverpool are champions of Europe.
Istanbul is always going to have a special place in my heart for the rest of my life. It was the biggest night of my career, one of the biggest nights of the club's history, and probably still to this day the best Champions League final has ever been. And every time you think of 2005, the first place that comes into your mind is Istanbul.
Share together, it's the catchphrase of Turkey's bid. Including everybody is an idea which has taken flight in the last 12 months of Turkish football. When Istanbul hosted the European Amputee Championships last year, very few knew that the tournament was even on. But by the end of the competition, more than 40,000 people watched the hosts take the title. Paul Scott from Beyond the Game was there to capture a moment that was much bigger than football. He had a chat with Barış Telli, a star of that match and one of Turkey's ambassadors for the 2024 Championships.
Now the game, the final, was originally meant to be played at the Turkish Football Federation facilities, where I'm not entirely sure how much it holds, but I would imagine it's not much more than 40, let alone 40,000. And it was an inspired choice.
There was an amazing atmosphere at the stadium, and when I entered it now, I remember that night. This country will not forget the date, 9 October 2017. As an amputee football team, we became European champions, and we did it in front of a record crowd.
I think that night you have to take it in context to what had happened a few days earlier, because the Turkish senior team had been eliminated from the World Cup. They took on Iceland and they lost quite badly, and Turkish football was in a desperate need of a boost. And then a few days later, on the Monday, this opportunity came along for the amputee team to perform here in front of 42,000 fans, and I think it was just what Turkish football needed.
Serkan sokuldu kale çizgisine. Serkan ortaya bir vuruş gol! Ömer Güler! Gol Ömer!
Şimdi tekrardan o duyguyu yaşamış oldum.
I can still feel it now. We ended the first half up 1-0, and we still had 25 minutes to play. We needed to stay disciplined and not forget where we stand. We wanted to play better in the second half, and we did. But this team from England were also very good. Until the final, nobody had scored in their goal. But we believed we could beat them.
Well, we were watching it right down on the pitch side. We were extremely close to the action because the pitch was obviously a lot smaller for the amputee players, so we could get really close to the action. Now Turkey, if memory serves, they took the lead and they had a 1-0 lead. And England actually equalised with seconds remaining, and it looked destined to go to extra time.
50. dakika, son dakika, kafa vuruşu olacak iş değil. Ray Westbrook.
We were so upset when they scored a last-minute goal. I remember the moment when everybody in the stadium was silent. We were devastated. But we stood up again because we needed to score for the championship.
Osman bekledi. Osman ayağından topu çıkarmadı, şimdi bas. Barış ceza alanına baktı. Barış geriye. Osman! 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 Osman çakmak gol! 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 56 gol! Osman! Osman'ın golü! 56!
Osman scored. Normally he's a defensive player and he always says nobody passes him the ball. But his position was great for the goal. After the goal, not only the people in the stadium, but the entire country was excited.
Barış, maç bitti. Şampiyon, şampiyon, şampiyon Türkiye. Türkiye şampiyon.
Vodafone Park gerçekten inanılmaz doluydu.
The stadium, it was full of people. They made us feel the atmosphere, the excitement. They made us feel everything. I was playing on the field, but for just a second, I wanted to see how excited the people were, so I lifted my head. It made me feel amazing at that moment. The crowd, they all believed in us. The people who came, our mothers, our aunts, sisters, brothers, everybody. They were there only for us.
The relationship between the supporters who were here and the amputee players was like something I've never really experienced, because you can't imagine that those players have ever played in front of a crowd even remotely close to what this was, and you probably imagine not many fans had ever watched amputee football before, yet all of a sudden they came together. It was this perfect crescendo, the perfect time, and the perfect end to the story as well.
Şampiyon Türkiye! Şampiyon Türkiye!
Istanbul is a star attraction for any visitor coming to Turkey, a city thousands of years old which is still as vibrant as ever. So for those who aren't local, it's nice to get a tour from someone who knows their way around the bustling metropolis. So we got Turkey's most capped footballer and legend of the game to show Robin Adams his new hometown.
I'm fairly new to Istanbul. I've only been here for a few months, but really it is a place that is absolutely fascinating. The city is smack bang in the middle of two continents, Europe and Asia. I live on the European side. We're spending a bit of time in Asia today, where you can see history is practically all around. And we've roped in the services of a gentleman, a legend of Turkish football. He needs absolutely no introduction to any sort of Turkish audiences at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, your friend and mine. A slow clap, please, for the legend. This is Rüstü Recber, former goalkeeper of the Turkish football team. He's going to be showing us Asia. My brother, good to see you. Thank you. Show us your hood.
Yes.
Or as I like to call it, Rüstü's hood. Let's go. Turkish football fans might not have been lining the streets on this occasion, but Recber really does enjoy legend status in the country. A football pundit on TV most days, right now Recber's happy to play tour guide for me and my team, showing us Turkey's iconic sights.
There are so many good fish restaurants along the seafront of the Bosphorus, and I'm going to take you to one of my favourites. Let's eat.
We're on his turf now, his playground. This is a home game for the man who spent 15 years of his professional career with two of the country's biggest clubs, Fenerbahce and bitter rivals Besiktas.
Robin.
My brother.
Robin, this is
food first, then football.
This is levrek. Yes, nice.
Teşekkürler. How much would it mean to the Turkish players, the young crop of players we got at the moment, and the fans, for Turkey to be hosting a European Championships in 2024?
We are a football-loving nation. Our fans are crazy about football. They're so passionate. We've also invested heavily into football with new and modern stadiums, so of course we want to host it. Our president is also a football lover, and he's helping the game improve. He's also backing the bid, which gives it the financial strength. I feel we are ready to host it.
Your friends from different parts of Europe, different parts of the world, do you invite them to Turkey, and what is it that you tell them is the big draw card? Why must they come to Turkey?
A lot have come here whenever possible. They want to see how beautiful Turkey's people and geography is. Most people have a different perception of Turkey. They think of it very differently. They think it's an Arab country. But when they see it, they're shocked. Turkey is a truly beautiful country. Patrick Kluivert came here for some matches, and when he was walking around, he saw things very differently. The same with Ronaldinho. When they see Turkey, it's just very different to what they expected.
And you know, I feel like the best way to experience the Bosphorus Strait that effectively connects Asia and Europe is on a boat. All right, you take us there, Rüstü. Show us your area, show us your hood. Merhaba. Rüstü, former goalkeeper for Turkey, Barcelona, Fenerbahce, TV pundit by day, and on his days off, he's my tour guide. All right? Give us the tour. Recber's also donned the Turkey jersey at the European Championships. He's best remembered for his war-painted face and ponytail. And when he led the national team into battle at the 2002 World Cup, Turkey recorded their best ever finish at football's biggest showpiece. When 2024 rolls around and Turkey does indeed stage the continental competition, Recp's promised to be in the stands cheering on the national team. What a legend. My brother, absolutely appreciate your time. And if Turkey gets the 2024 Euro Championships, I'm going to see you there. All right. Cheers, man. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot.
That's all from us here in Neon. Soon we will know who will host Euro 2024. I'm Lance Santos and you've been watching Beyond the Game.
Beyond the Game, brought to you by Turkish Airlines.